Citrus fruit, milk, yogurt, green leafy vegetables and vitamins are good for you and make you strong, unless they make you sick, which happens under certain circumstances. For example, when they're not compatible with prescription medications. You then need to make sure not to eat the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Drugs and food can interact. Certain foodstuffs can influence the effectiveness of certain drugs, weakening, neutralizing, or boosting their effect. Sometimes they produce toxins and cause serious side effects.
That's what happened to Christa Glischer. One morning she was suddenly hit by incredible pain.
It was in both sides of my groin. I just sat there for a while and didn't know what to do. I could hardly walk, and I couldn't sit up or bend down.
Blood tests showed her muscles were breaking down. The condition, called rhabdomyolysis, is a rare but very serious side effect of the statins used to lower blood cholesterol. For 20 years, Glischer hadn't had any problems.
It's very unlikely that this kind of side effect would suddenly manifest after such a long time. There must have been another factor that triggered the reaction.
That other factor was grapefruit. 2 weeks before the pain set in, Glischer had taken to eating them.
I told the doctor I ate one a day. He said, a whole one? And I said, yes, that's not so much.
But in combination with certain meds, even one grapefruit can be enough to trigger serious problems.
Grapefruit contains substances that block certain enzymes in the body. Unfortunately, those enzymes are needed to break down certain pharmaceuticals. So, if you eat a grapefruit, those enzymes are stopped in their tracks, and the effects of the meds are boosted. It's a really big problem because it affects 40% of all active drug compounds.
Professor Smolich researches the interaction between meds and foodstuffs. He says doctors need to tell their patients about the issues. The calcium in dairy products, for example, binds with a certain class of antibiotics and prevents their absorption in the gut. The same is true for certain osteoporosis medications. Patients shouldn't consume dairy for several hours before or after taking them.
Patients with osteoporosis should consume a lot of calcium, so they often eat a lot of dairy, and then they take their osteoporosis medication with the dairy. That's exactly the combination that stops those meds from working.
Osteoporosis medication should also not be taken with carbonated mineral water, but with tap water. Vitamin and mineral supplements can also diminish the effectiveness of some meds. Green tea, regular tea and coffee can also be problematic in this regard. Professor Smolich shows us why. He puts a couple of drops of an antidepressant into a glass of tea. Tricyclic antidepressants bind with the tannins in the tea. That reduces the amount of medication absorbed by the body. Green tea can also neutralize some beta blockers used to lower blood pressure. But there's more. Cardiologist Gerian Grönefeld says he believes that, in some of his patients, interactions between cranberry juice and the blood thinner warfarin caused serious hemorrhaging.
The mechanism hasn't been identified. It could be, like with grapefruit juice, that a certain enzyme is inhibited that's needed to break down warfarin. So if it isn't broken down, the warfarin is twice as potent, and patients are in danger of hemorrhaging.
Every medicine pack includes a patient information leaflet that describes known risks, but many patients don't read it. They should. And they can always ask their doctor or pharmacist about the sometimes surprising interactions between medicines and what they eat and drink.
And here's some facts from the world of medicine.
Every square centimeter of your fingertips contains up to 200 sensory cells just for touch. They react to the slightest stimulation in just a fraction of a second. The skin has receptors for detecting pressure, pain, cold, and heat. They receive information and send it as electrical impulses along sensory nerves to the brain. There, the stimulation is identified and processed. Certain body parts where touch plays an important role, like the hands, face, and feet, have vast numbers of touch-sensitive cells. The receptors are most densely distributed on the fingertips, lips, and tongue. On the back, they're spaced much more widely apart.